The Newsline.
The massacre of Israeli civilians carried out by Hamas terrorists on October 7, 2023, is considered the most brutal and blood-soaked attack against the Jewish people since the Holocaust orchestrated by Adolf Hitler. This video offers an overview of Israel's current stance as a nation and the Jewish people's collective response, 22 months after the tragedy. Throughout history, many have attempted to deny the Holocaust. In a disturbingly similar fashion, radical Islamic factions and certain Western voices now appear determined to erase the memory of the October 7 massacre. On that day, 1,200 Israelis, civilians and soldiers, were brutally murdered. Women and children were among the victims. More than 250 individuals were taken hostage and dragged into Gaza while still wounded, treated like slaves. Entire families were burned alive by the attackers in acts of unspeakable cruelty. What occurred is beyond the bounds of civilized comprehension. Infants were reportedly decapitated, and their mothers subjected to gang rape before they could even grieve. These horrors were committed in the name of religion, with the perpetrators shouting Allahu Akbar, God is great. Such actions suggest a God who endorses bloodshed and brutality. This is not our accusation, but the image projected by the terrorists themselves, who committed crimes against humanity while invoking the name of their deity. We at People's TV will continue to expose this truth without fear. If Islam is indeed a religion of peace and mercy, it is Hamas that has discredited that claim through its actions. This is not our definition of Islam. It is the version demonstrated by radical Islamists. When religious leaders and other faiths fail morally, their conduct is condemned. The same standard must apply here. The atrocities committed in the name of a merciful God cannot be overlooked or excused. Shockingly, these are the individuals some in the West are attempting to sanitize and legitimize. Certain powers now advocate for a two-state solution and the recognition of a Palestinian state, seemingly ignoring the barbarity that occurred on October 7. We addressed this issue in a separate video. However, it has now been 22 months since the attack, and at the time of this report, over 50 hostages remain in captivity, held in subhuman conditions. Despite this, the Red Cross, global media lobbies, human rights organizations, and protesters shouting Free Palestine remain notably silent about the hostages. Demonstrations demanding their release are non-existent. Nearly 2 years later, those individuals continue to suffer, hidden in Hamas underground tunnels. Meanwhile, the United Nations and other global powers will once again convene, not to condemn Hamas, not to apply sanctions, not to demand justice, and not to call for the hostages' release. Their discussions often embolden terrorism and send a dangerous message: Israel's sovereignty is negotiable. In this context, a defensive strategy is no longer sufficient for Israel. What is unfolding is not merely a conflict, it is a war. Hamas must be dismantled before it achieves its goal. Security analysts agree that Israel must adopt an offensive posture, responding with clarity, strength, and resolve. Today, Israel faces threats on 7 fronts, many of which are coordinated by Iran, a longtime architect of regional instability. These include Hamas in Gaza, the Houthis in Yemen, armed militias in the West Bank, Hezbollah in Lebanon, and other Iran-backed groups. Cyber warfare and coordinated propaganda campaigns form the remaining 2 fronts. Hamas and its allies have mastered the media battlefield, shaping global narratives while Israel struggles to respond effectively in that space. Iran serves as the central sponsor of these efforts. During recent hostilities, it directed missile strikes at civilian populations. In light of this, Israel must abandon any reliance on purely defensive doctrine and adopt a firm, offensive strategy. The phrase "never again" must transcend rhetoric and become reality. This is not merely about territory. It is about survival. Israel must define its red lines and enforce them with strength, just as it did with Hezbollah. Such ultimatums should extend to all hostile actors, including Iran. Additionally, Israel must invest in strengthening its media and communication strategies. Hamas has effectively manipulated public opinion through selective footage and fabricated stories, while Israel failed to present its side with comparable clarity. There remain allies around the world who stand with Israel. Diplomatic ties with these nations must be fortified. At the same time, Israel's leaders must rise above temporary headlines and face dishonest media campaigns with courage and clarity. Israel is a nation that rose from the ashes of history. It was not established to merely exist, but to flourish. It is a beacon of innovation in technology, medicine, agriculture, and science, serving humanity in multiple ways. Moving forward, these qualities must guide Israel's path. The Jewish people are not murderers. They are not the ones committing atrocities while crying out in the name of God. They are a people who continue to build, heal, and contribute, even after enduring some of history's darkest moments. If this report helped you see the situation on the ground clearly, don't keep it to yourself. Like, share, and subscribe to People's TV, where truth has no agenda, and facts speak louder than spin.
Subscribe us for more details.